Now, this is almost certainly a question that literally no one has ever bothered to ask, but is going to be quite an interesting fact to just drop in a conversation about Formula 1. So what is the lowest position that you can consecutively finish in every single race of a season, but still win the title? So for example, we know that if you were to win every single race in the Formula 1 season, you would go on to win. But could you, for example, finish 5th in every single season of Formula 1 and still go on to win the title? Now, in order to answer this question, we essentially have to take the original question, the lowest position you can consecutively finish to win the title, and ask ourselves a second question. What's the lowest amount of points a champion can win with? And by answering this question in a completely unrealistic season of Formula 1, we will then be able to take a look at the consecutive points finishes that you can make as a driver to end up winning the title. So what exactly do I mean by the lowest amount of points a champion can win with? Let's take a quick look at a small example. We need a list of 20 drivers, driver A through to driver T. And in this theoretical round number 1, drivers score the points accordingly, 25 through to 1 from 1st to 10th. Now, I'm not including the bonus point for fastest lap in any of these calculations, as it's just going to slightly confuse things. Now, this would be any old random season of Formula 1, but to ensure that the minimum number of points is scored, for round number 2, we actually have to give the maximum points available in the race to the drivers who don't have the points yet in the championship. This is to stop the first 10 drivers from romping away quickly with the title. So the new total for round number 2 looks a little bit like this. We have 20 drivers joint with 10 different point scores. Then for round number 3, we have to do exactly the same. Give the maximum number of points in the race to the drivers with the lowest points in the championship. In this case, driver T gets 25 for having 1 point in the championship, and then driver J gets second place 18 for also having 1 point in the championship. With the total for round 3 looking like this, then exactly the same is done. The most points, 25, goes to driver P for only having 9 in the championship, and this whole process of giving the most points in the race to the driver with the least points in the championship gets rinsed and repeated until the season's end. Until we end up with a graph that looks a little bit like this, where 115 points is the minimum number you can win with for a 20-round season of Formula 1. Now, obviously, this is a completely ludicrous and theoretical and just would never happen season of Formula 1, but it would be extremely interesting to see if it would actually happen. Now, to go back to our original question, we actually have to modify this ever so slightly, because if we go back to our list of 20 drivers, if our driver A is going to consecutively finish in the same points position, we have to change up the maths just a little bit. So if driver A was to finish first in every single race, at round number 2, they would score 50, which means driver K now gets 18 for second, which means driver T at the bottom is actually left out, and at round number 2 has scored nothing. So then when it comes round to round number 3, we have to give driver T the maximum points available that isn't the points that our driver is going to be scoring consecutively. In this case, it's 25, so we have to give driver T 18. And again, this process is rinsed and repeated of giving the most points available in the race to the driver with the least points in the championship. And so if you were to finish first in every single race, scoring 25 points, you would end up with a graph that looks a little something like this. Now we're going to annotate this graph just a little bit, with the first line being the points remaining in the championship. We start off for a 20-round season with 500 points being the maximum points available in the season, losing 25 as every round goes on, up until 25 points remaining at round 20. Then the second line I'm going to map on is the gap to second place. This is the points gap from our champion to second place in the championship. And then where these two lines intersect is the championship winning line. So in this example, the earliest possible point you could ever win a Formula 1 world title for a 20-round season is at round 12. So if we were to do exactly the same for this and take a look at finishing second in every single race where you score just 18 points, annotating on the points remaining, annotating on the points gap to second place, and then where the two lines intersect is where you win the title, this time 2 rounds later at round 14. So let's take a look at finishing P3 in every single race where you score just 15 points, annotating on the points remaining, the gap to second place, and then where these two lines intersect, that is round 15, and you would still win the title. Doing the same once again for P4, where you score 12 points per race, annotating on the points remaining, the gap to second place, where the two lines intersect, that is round 17. With just 3 rounds remaining, you would still be champion. But notably, you don't end up leading the championship until round number 2. Then when we move down to finishing P5 in every single race, where you score just 10 points, annotating on the points remaining, the gap to second place, and then where these two lines intersect, that is round 18. So you win the championship with just 2 rounds remaining, finishing P5 in every single race, and you won't lead the title until round 3. So we move down to P6, where you score just 8 points per race, where everybody else jostles for their positions, annotating on the points remaining, the gap to second place, and then the championship winning line at round 19. With 1 round spare, you win the title. And again, in this example, you don't end up leading the championship until round number 4, where you are actually joint with one of the drivers. So you won't officially lead the championship until round number 5. So from finishing P6 and still winning the title in every single race, we will take a look at finishing P7 in every single race, and you only just scrape the title, annotating on the points remaining for this season, the gap to second place, where you don't even end up leading the title until round 14. You go 13 consecutive rounds without leading at all. You only just clinch the title at the last round, as the red and the green dotted lines do not intersect. And then taking a look at what would happen if you were to finish P8, scoring just 4 points per round, you will never win the title. You'll be in that small little title fight until round 5, where you just slightly begin to drop off every single race until you're around 30 points off of the champion at the checkered flag at the end of the season. So there we are, you'd have to finish P7 at least in every single season of a Formula 1 championship to clinch the title, as long as everyone else jostles for their positions in this completely unrealistic season of Formula 1. And just for those who are interested to see what it would look like if you were to finish 9th in every single round of Formula 1, you would still not win the title and miss out by an even bigger margin. And then if you were to finish P10, scoring just 1 point in every single round, this is what it would look like as well. And so there we go. You just need to finish P7 in every single race in this ridiculous season of Formula 1 to clinch a world title. If there is anything that you're interested to know about all of this maths down in the comments below, please let me know. But that is all I've got for you today, guys. I hope you have enjoyed, and I will catch you in the next episode with whatever and whenever I decide to make it. I'll see you guys then.